Everyone, this is Nibiru Watcher. It is August 23rd, 2016, and I'm going to show you some pretty impressive pictures and explain the artificial sun and the lens system that is used to change the focal point of light so that you can't see it. So first I'm going to show you the lens system. Now this is a time-lapse video that I made in Brisbane, Australia. So as we go over the course of time, we'll let this thing play. We can see something is rotating and oscillating with this thing, and here we can make out these lenses. At first I thought they were cameras, cloaking devices. So here you can clearly make out this lens system and how it's even creating these lights or being focused through these lenses and diverting it from your eyes. As I explained in my other video, that if you change the focal point, you can't see it, where light converges on the other side of the lens. So next, we can see as the sun passes through these lenses, the focal points are changing and diverting it basically away from your eyes. And even appears to be smaller ones up here. Pretty complex lens system that's being used. So next I want to show you the cloaking device and basically how this works. So in here we see the light source. These actually emit light. These are huge light emitters, and on the back side of this are the cooling system for each one of these high power lamps. This thing probably stands, from the picture I would guess, at least 20 feet tall, and there could be a set of these in series. Could just be one of them. And here it is being seen, the actual light source. And it's not just free floating out there in space. I showed you the pattern on that. Please just want to go back and watch the light bending technology. I'm not going to say where that came from. Next, again, it's going to quickly go back over this. This is that same disc. This is it sitting sideways. The light reflects off this parabolic mirror, bounces and focuses on the center one, refocuses it through the light, hits this another parabolic mirror here, which would be the dark spot in the sun we've been seeing, and that hits these lights and bends out. This entire device is contained in a giant telescope looking device, kind of like we saw in that last picture. You can see how light deflects from all angles, emulating the sun, or the artificial sun. This is an actual patent. So next I want to show you, kind of revisit an old video that I had seen, and it was over Lake Starnberg. If I can bring this up here. Here we go. So here it is in action when the source of the fake sun, or the artificial light, which is in front of the real sun, the sun's still there. We can see that the system in effect here, as it's passing through these lenses, this is not a lens flare. This is the focal point right here where it's creating the new image, possibly the actual planet. So we'll see these two lenses here that are being reflected this, and we zoom this in. So now we could see this artificial light, which is in front of the actual sun, and reflecting the image. The artificial light would be in front of the lens. So you'd have the artificial light here, and then the lens system further away, closer to the Earth. And what we're looking at is the focal point and projecting this image here, the actual planet. And as we do show you a time lapse how this is working. It's setting it as the sun sets through these lenses. Now there would be one of these artificial systems in front of the sun and one in front of the moon, and I believe the one in front of the sun would be made of gold plating, and the one for the reflecting dish and the moon would be silver, like we saw in that last photograph with all the scientists in front of it. So now you can see as the sun sets through these sets of lenses, as it changes the focal point, reflecting this. Okay, so here's the focal point the lens would sit. You can almost make out the lens shape here, and there's lenses all over, like I showed you in the time lapse over Brisbane. So now I want to show you a comparative video of this and what we see. This, it's the same picture. It's not a spider. Let's go back in time and let's watch this thing carefully. Now, how could this be a spider? Okay, where is this green light coming from? Let's watch this thing set. It gets pretty interesting. We're going to watch the lensing effects on this thing also. And then you can see that this is reflecting the light of another object. Also, notice the time. Where is all this light coming from? So we can see, I believe some of this may be the moons. Now, in this picture, you may say, aha, we got you. This is a spider web, right? No, this is not spider web. This is the lensing action. You can see the distinct lines. Let's look very carefully before you want to call it a spider web. Now, if you catch a spider in this thing at some other point in time, doesn't mean this particular image was the spider. But I can't seem to get enough of that. You see the clear break here in this line right here to see how the light is being broken. Okay, that's not a spider web. This is not one of those classic spider webs with a spider web. Nice try. From a first glance, you can give it a quick look, okay? Yeah, that's a spider. And by the way, what the heck is going on out here? The moment this thing lights up, this thing lights up. I find that very interesting. Is that I don't know, maybe they're having a concert over there. Now let's keep watching the time-lapse video as this thing progresses. And now the light is being blocked. And now we're back to seeing this lensing action here. Let's look at this very carefully. Now, where's the green coming from? Right? If this is a lens flare or a spider web, let's analyze this. You see the lensing action here, projecting this image here over here. Okay, these aren't lens flares. This is where the light is being refocused. But I think as we progress, it's going to get more interesting. Now it starts to look more like a spider, but look at this lensing action here to see where the focal point of this light is. So where it focuses the lens has been focused away from the eye so you can't see it. Here, let's zoom in on this one. Okay, let's analyze every single shot. That one here, your green planet, as it's being focused through this light. So don't be telling me, and look at reflecting the light on the water. Okay, this lensing action, almost as it focuses the light, because it didn't hit the earth, you're not going to see it. You're going to see the distortions. And even reflected on the water. And still almost seeing this hexagonal sun because the source of light is a hexagonal device. It's kind of like when looking at a light bulb, and if you turn it up bright enough, apparently they can change the brightness on this thing. If you turn the brightness on a light bulb light up, you will actually see the very filament. You don't prefer that because it's getting pretty obvious. But as they turn that thing up, like I did in that previous photograph, over here, they turn this thing up so bright to try and hide it that you can now see the very filament itself. So next, go back into here. and we can see. So now I'm going to go back to this picture here. Remember, if we say this is the same, let's go back to this picture here and see what was a spider web or not. And I'm still saying these are not spider webs. That's the lens reflecting these rings of light that I've seen in even older videos of mine. Look very carefully. See what an even break. What kind of spider web would that be? Yeah, and of course, glance. Yeah, spider kind of web. Yeah, you guys gotta let go of that. You got it. This thing's coming in, and it ain't going away. And you tell me that this green object is a spider? Okay. So it's the same object. It is out there. And I would like to show you this object here. That one. I want to tell you something. First of all, I want you to notice the time. This is over Lake Germany. This is a different camera than this one, okay? It's the same thing on a different camera, since why spiders look like that. Now, watch the time. Look at the light of this thing. It's dark. Whatever lit this thing up, like I did in my other video, was that the fake star system that's attempting to wash this system out? That may be. And then it's dark again. Okay? Let's just watch the time lapse. Now, does that look like a spider? Chris Potter would say, come on, people. It's time to wake up. This thing's coming in, and it's always coming in at the southeast or the southwest, depending on what side of the country it's on. There it is. Okay? How could that be a spider? Really? It's plasma, and I have a feeling that the reason why we're seeing more, let's watch the progression of this thing. Now, this thing is obviously blocking the light from outside. And I gotta say, if that thing's a spider, why is it reflecting the entire light of the entire area? It's all lit up, and then it goes dark again. I think where this light source is coming from, I'm not positive. Could be the fake star. It could be reflecting the light from Nemesis, the second sun. But this thing is getting there, and it's getting bigger. It's not going away. Hi, I wanted to give you an update on the something you want to be aware of. That as far as the conspiracy thing goes, on this RTC bus, they actually have a comment here. Says our next president will not be elected, and this is in Cleveland, Ohio. Isn't that interesting? Because that was my theory, that during the elections that there's going to be a riot that breaks out. This crisis actors are being for hire on Craigslist. Dabu 7 has already covered this. And so I believe that during this election process, there will be a riot that breaks out at the key voting states. As the votes are coming in, the voting process will no longer be safe, and our president will postpone the election, and this will be fulfilled. But you'll look, yes, I find it interesting that this is a drama movie, an upcoming Keith Sutherland, blah, 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 about a movie that's coming up. It's just advertising for a movie. Okay. Why is it only in Cleveland, Ohio? Things that make you go, So, yeah, that's just something to think about. Here is another picture of this. So I'm pull this up for you. And this next president will not be elected. It is for real. It's all over the buses. But why is it only in Cleveland, Ohio? Why? And why are there protesters and rioting beginning now? Why are there crisis actors on Craigslist? If you know more about this, please post it. I'll leave a link in the description. You guys have a blessed day.